So the Rolex, like the people that outright just hate Rolex, to me, that always kind of like translates to a little bit of envy or jealousy. And I'm sorry if people hear that, it upsets them, but that's what I hear. Because when I say like, hey, I'm not a big Rolex guy, I elaborate more and let people know like I still respect them. They're just not always for me. And the hype doesn't grab me the same way it does for other people. But at the end of the day, there are multiple models that I would absolutely buy if I had the money right now.
Here we go. Here we go. Welcome back to Due Time Presents The Watchers. I'm Rod Dye, and today's guest needs no introduction. If you spend any time on Watch Talk, today we're joined by Andrew Berg, better known as Andy's Watches.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And for those who, for the handful of people who may be unfamiliar with Andy's Watches here, he's one of the fastest rising voices in the watch space. He's best known for his viral series where he rates watch collections without permission. So we're definitely looking to dive into that, man. How are you doing today, Andy?
I'm great. It's just the storm is pretty bad. You know, it's already hit. So
it's already hit there?
Oh, yeah. It's like 10 degrees outside. The wind chill is already below zero.
Where are you located? What area? What state?
Rochester, New York.
You're upstate. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstate. That's what's up. Yeah. So I know actually I've spent some time in Buffalo for work, and I know how it gets. Man, it gets crazy.
Dang.
It gets crazy, man. Well, man, thank you for joining us today, man. I know you've talked, at length with Rio offline. So glad to, formally get a chance to speak with you, man. And looking forward to
Rio's
our
my guy.
Yeah.
My guy. That's my guy.
He's
man.
popular too. You're well liked with a lot of those big guys on 47th Street. They all love Rio.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
I really appreciate that, man. And we're gonna talk more, but Andy's the kind of guy who will give you some insight. He's a straight shooter, man, and even if you're in a content space, he'll give you some guidance. So I really appreciate that from your end, man.
Of course.
Before we start getting into anything else, Rod, what we got to do right now?
Oh man, well, without further ado, we always start off with what's on the wrist. We always allow our guests to go last. So, man, Rio, kick us off.
All right. Well, my trusty Timex Marlin Chrono. This was the first watch I got when I got into actually collecting watches. I knew nothing about nothing. I just saw this dial and I said, give it to me on Amazon. So, Timex Marlin Chrono.
Nice
piece. Well, I'll go ahead and follow up here. So I actually going to show us a Rolex Datejust. Okay. Rolex Datejust. I'll be one of those guys. Reference number 126334. No, but actually this is my I'm playing the AD games, but no, this is actually my first, I'll say, official allocation in which they actually gave me what I asked for. So it's a great piece here, and that's what we started the journey at. So yeah, how about yourself, Andy? What's on
That's
wrist
a special
today?
piece. Your first real allocation with them.
Yes.
I saw that on your Instagram. I'm still wearing the new Omega. I haven't taken it off. The only time I was taking it off was to wear the Islander. I wanted to wear the Islander while I was at work for a bit and stuff like that and get a feel for it. But yeah, it kind of hasn't left the wrist. I really like it quite a bit.
What Omega is that?
The newest Railmaster, the one that's loved and hated.
Mm-hmm.
So
very polarizing.
It is.
Can you hold it up to the camera?
Yeah. I think that the reasons that people love it are valid, and the reasons that people don't love it are also valid. So, I hear both arguments and agree with both. I think it just depends on what you really want. Yeah, the gradient gray dial is really nice. The thing that I liked about it, because when it first dropped, I did have a few back and forths about it. But at the end of the day, one of my favorite pieces from Omega is the Aquaterra, but anybody that knows me knows that my favorite pieces from them have always been the Railmasters.
Okay.
And the one that I love the most is the one that comes on like the blue jean strap.
I've seen that.
It's too big for me though. Just a tad too big. I don't like the way it wears.
Yeah.
And because I also love Aquaterras so much, and this has a 38 millimeter case, I feel like I'm getting everything I want now.
I feel like it's,
it
I was
has
going
the
to ask what the
specs.
Aquaterra from here. You can see it
Yeah.
from here. Yeah.
Right. Most people think it's an Aquaterra, and I'm okay with that because I love the Aquaterra case.
Yeah.
But this one is brushed rather than polished.
Mm,
And I'm getting the specs out of the Railmaster that's always been what drew me to the Railmaster, because I work around machines every day.
okay.
I'm a machinist. I like the anti-magnetic, like Gauss protection. That's always been my thing. That's why the Milgauss is one of my favorite watches from Rolex.
Yeah.
And I'm still sad that, they took it away, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean I can't get one, right?
You could get one. That kind of brings up what I wanted to start first with you, Andy. Like before we get into the watches, who is Andy outside of watches?
Well, I mean, most of my life I've been blue collar. So I swung a hammer for like 10 years, fresh out of high school. I was a roofer and like a cider, and then I was like building houses and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I've talked about it quite a bit on my channel and especially in my lives with my people, but I have a pretty checkered past, honestly. So I got into quite a bit of trouble. I was an addict and pretty heavy alcoholic for a long time, and I didn't clean up my act till about 7 years ago. So watches, I've always loved them, but I couldn't seriously get into them until I got like cleaned up because I didn't have the money. Like I always had a watch, but it was not a nice watch. You know what I mean? It was whatever I could afford basically. And a lot of the times I would go and hawk them at pawn shops to get some cash, stuff like that.
Do you see a connection with machinists and like loving like the movements of watches and stuff like that? Do you think that ties in?
Yeah, I've always been into, like mechanical objects and stuff like that always fascinated me. And when I started to get into like machining and like other types of work, because I've worked in, like carpentry and like building houses and stuff like that. But then I've also done almost 10 years of welding and like fabrication work. And now I'm working in machining and engineering. So all of that stuff, like I've always liked. I fully understand why people prefer to get like an open case back sometimes, because I'm that guy that does like to stare at the back of the watch, look at all the guts, see everything moving. It's something that's kind of mesmerizing for me and a lot of other people. And the people that don't get it, that's totally fine. But
we want to see the movement. I always say, like, if you're going to have if you're not going to have the exhibition case back on it, like, you may as well be a quartz. I
can be that way sometimes, but then, like, with a traditional design, I almost don't want the open case back.
Yeah. No, if it doesn't.
Yeah. If it looks old fashioned, I kind of like it to be an old-fashioned looking piece, but we all like to see the guts.
So when did you start making content for watches, and what made you want to like pick that niche group? Like, I mean, it's one thing to collect, but to actually making the content.
So I started making TikTok content almost 5 years ago, but I was not in doing that kind of content. I was more or less like doing a lot of silly stuff for like the first 2 years. I got political for a few years. I tried doing fragrances for a while because I like that. But then, and all the while I was watching TikToks, the one thing that I did notice is for a while, I wasn't seeing many creators that were doing watch content. And I didn't think that I could get any traction doing it. So I just kind of kept doing what I was doing, and I was watching YouTube for my watch content, right? And then all of a sudden one day, Ben's Watches came across my For You page, and I immediately liked him, and he reminded me of a bunch of my buddies that I was into collecting with already. And I was like, okay, this guy's just going, and at first he was just going on TikTok and he was just riffing with people and chatting about watches and trying to find his base, right?
Yeah.
And at first it was kind of like tough to get his footing. I think for anybody it was tough. And I started to see a few more creators pop up here and there. And then I decided, okay, I'll try it, right? So I did it, and I think I gained like 10,000 followers in a few months, and I was really happy, and I was rolling, and then I got political.
Came back, the political bug came back.
Yeah, and then I lost the account. I got banned.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I almost like was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. I'm not going to do watch content. I'm going to go back to doing political content because now I'm angry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did get angry, and I started making content on my other account, and that grew, and it was just a lot of me. It wasn't me being toxic, but it was me lashing out quite a bit and me just speaking my mind. But if anybody knows me, I can be pretty vulgar and very brash, and I'm abrasive at times. I get it. And I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I was constantly stressed. I wasn't eating. I wasn't getting good sleep and any of that. And I got invited to a Formex event where they were releasing the Ceramica.
Okay.
So Raphael hit me up and he was like, do you want to come to New York and see this release? And I told him, I go, hey, I don't have the watch content or the watch profile anymore. It's gone. I lost it.
Wow.
And he was like, you're not going to start another one? And I go, I will. I'll start another one and I'll come and I'll shoot content. So I started the new one. I showed up to the event and I was half-assing everything. And I was admittedly telling people like, I'm not really back. I'm just here to shoot some content for Raphael and that's it. And Ben was there. And I told Ben that I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it again. Because he asked me, he goes, I was seeing your videos all the time and then you disappeared. I go, I lost the account. And he was like, well, did you start a new one? And I go, yeah, but I'm not really going to do it. It's not worth it. Like, I don't think I can build up again. You know, I had 10,000 followers and I just lost all of them. And he was like, dude, don't. He was like, are you kidding me? He's like, I loved your content. I was watching it all the time.
Wow.
You need to start again.
Well,
and then I met his buddy Craig, who was there and like let me play with his watches. He said the same thing. Bunch of other guys that I met all basically were like, no, like you should be making the content again. Chronometer Check, if anybody remembers him, you know, he was the king of YouTube Shorts for a while. He was doing great TikTok content. He was there and he was egging me on. He was like, dude, you can't stop. So I just picked up and started doing it again. But I decided the second time around, I was going to do it kind of my way and just, I'm not going to try to, I wasn't scripting myself, but I was trying to kind of be like the other watch creators, stick to like a certain type of format, do what I thought worked. And when I first started doing it, like nobody was really picking up on it. I also wasn't being myself. And then one day I had like a really bad day. I was in a terrible mood and I decided that I was going to try this new idea that had been floating around in my head, which is like, I keep seeing people put up their watch collections and I just want to grab videos of these and just like rate them, but not tag the people and not like anything. I'm just doing it. And I was like, I guess I'm doing it without permission. And it just kind of got worded that way the first time I did it.
Yeah.
And I really was in such a foul mood when I made it. And a lot of people in the comments were like, I was waiting for you to roast this guy, but you never did. And it's like, well, I love watches. It turns out like doing this kind of cheers me up a little bit. Like, yeah. So I just kept going with it and it picked up. And now here we are, you know.
What do you think attributed to that success for what you learned from the 10,000 to almost quitting and then getting to where you are today?
The main thing that helped was I stopped pretending. I decided to be myself. That's the number one thing that I didn't realize that was what was going to make it click. But the second I just started just kind of speaking freely and saying what I wanted and doing the videos the way I wanted and not doing them the way that I thought I should do them, because I kept looking at other successful creators and seeing how they did their content. Yeah. And I'm not trying to plagiarize it, but I'm trying to get ideas so I can be successful. And the more I kept doing that, I was like, the more I'm doing this, the more I'm taking away from like how I actually am. Like, why don't I just think of like, how would Andy do this content? And the way I do it is exactly how Andy would do it. That's why like I I'm about to film another stupid, silly battle royale video. And people are like, how did you come up with that idea? And I'm like, if you hung out with me for like 3 hours, that would answer your question, because I'm just a dreamer and I'm silly and I have all these weird fantasies that I like to run through my head. And yeah, that popped in my head one day and I was like, yeah, battle royale.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you ever do comedy?
Yeah, I did stand up, just like open mics for about like 2 years. And like prior to actually stepping on stage, I was like writing stuff for a few years and like coming up with this dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. But at the same time, I was also like at the very, very depths of my addictions, like the bottom. I was really bad.
Yeah.
And when I first started getting up on stage, I was still drinking heavily. And that would loosen me up. I was the type of drunk that like I was drinking all day, every day, that like I guess I was used to being like that I could act totally normal even though I was shit canned. And like that was something that was really alarming for like my parents and stuff like that. Because like my mother would like, at a party or something, if I'd show up to like a family party, she would watch how much I would drink, but then not see my demeanor change and be like, you don't like, I don't know. So I was pretty good on stage, even if I was like hammered, and I could keep it together. And I had like, I don't know, a bunch of like decent, good sets like on open mics, right?
Yeah.
I met Godfrey. I opened for him during an open mic event.
He's good.
Well, he's from my area. So and he's the nicest guy. He's the nicest dude. This is a long time ago, but like he's still the same too. But as soon as I quit drinking and I tried to step up on stage, like my voice was shaking. I didn't have the confidence anymore. I didn't have like I realized that all of a sudden now I have stage fright and I have all this anxiety because like when I quit drinking, like now I like all of my real problems came up, and like I realized I was a mess and I could not do it. So I completely abandoned like that whole dream and I just walked away from it.
Totally. And the only reason why I asked you that is because of your timing. Like you have really great timing, and I don't think you're trying. I just think this is naturally you being yourself when you're doing your content. And I just feel like it just happens like that. I mean, so when me and Rod was kind of talking, when I was letting them know like how I discovered you or whatever, I was like, man, so it's this guy on TikTok. I just started like trolling him for no reason. Like just because I didn't know if I knew you already, because I was in the middle of doing the binge watch challenges, and I was like, next thing I know, it's like 30 or 40 people that just became my friends overnight. So I'm like, a lot of my friends were already following you and you were on live. And, I kind of want to bring up something with it. Like, I was like, you was talking about watches. I was like, yeah. And I like Richard Mille. And then you and me was going back and forth about Richard Mille. And, cause me and Ron, we think we like Richard Mille. And I know we don't have to get into it unless you want to about, whether or not, about your take on Richard Mille. Like, Rod, tell them like what you think about Richard Mille, like Richard Mille's, what you think about him.
So I like Richard Mille. I like Richard Mille. I definitely think they're like overhyped for sure. But I mean, I like Richard Mille definitely. I like watches with wrist presence.
Okay,
so I like
that makes sense.
I like Richard Mille. I am pro Jacob and Co. Personally, I like Jacob and Co. And and I know they're very extravagant, but for what they do and for what they are, like I think they're great. They're not meant to be subtle. Like they're meant to, they're meant to be a statement piece. And
yeah, for sure.
I like them. Like I said, I like Richard Mille. So yeah, like I know that they have like a lot of like horological value. I just do think they're like very hyped. If I could buy one, I would probably take the money, probably buy something else. But nonetheless, I'll say I'm pro RM, pro Jacob and Co. for sure.
It's valid. I know plenty that like them, and that's why I always tell people constantly because, and I saw a comment in a comment section that wasn't my video, about me. It made me happy because this guy, I don't know if you saw it, this guy made a video all about how I shit on his watch.
Oh
Did you see that?
no, I did not see that.
Seems like Andy loves watches and gives a lot of watches praise, but of course, like the watch that I love, he absolutely hates, and it's this Casio that he has that I just admittedly thought was ugly, and I said it in a video,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was going back and forth with this other guy, and they were both kind of saying to each other, they were like, Andy hates all of the stuff that I love, but I still follow him because I like him and I like his content. And like, I also don't like the things that he likes. And I know that that doesn't bother him, which is true. I understand. Like, I mean, I promoted Alex, the watch regulator, and like one of the first comments in my video when I promoted him is they were like, "Are you sure you want to promote him? Because his most recent video is absolutely trashing your newest watch." And I go, "I'm fully aware. I saw the video. Like, I don't mind if he does. Like, we don't have to have the same opinion on watches. This isn't a topic that's gonna break up friendships. If it does, you're weird."
Exactly.
And you're putting too much into it. It's not a referendum on your character or anything. And I was just gonna say, since we've been like diving into this world of horology, like that's one of like the great things about it. It's like, everyone has their own sense of style. What works for one person may not work for the next. Like I said, I'm pro Jacob and Co for sure, but I know many people bash them online, and that's totally fine. We can have, discourse about it. We can agree on some things, disagree on some things. And like some people, like Rolex, some people are just anti Rolex and are Grand Seiko fanboys, but that's a whole nother thing.
The anti Rolex thing, that to me is the only one where I kind of get a bit weird about it. Because I can't find valid reasons to be completely anti Rolex. I can find reasons to be like anti Hublot, anti Richard Mille, maybe. I can. And no offense, but like with Rolex, if you are a fan of watches and you understand quality, you can't dish on Rolex. You can get upset at the hype. You can get upset at the prices a bit. But it's one of those things where it's like you can hate the player or hate the game, but you have to choose one, in my opinion. Because the thing is like they wouldn't have their reputation if the watches sucked, right?
That's a fact.
At the end of the day, like I'm someone that says that I don't agree with their pricing and I don't like some of the hoops that you have to jump through to get them, but I would never ever go and say I hate Rolex because that's absurd. If you're a watch fan, how could you hate a high quality watch? So the Rolex, like the people that outright just hate Rolex, to me, that always kind of like translates to a little bit of envy or jealousy. And I'm sorry if people hear that and it upsets them, but that's what I hear. Because when I say like, hey, I'm not a big Rolex guy, I elaborate more and let people know like I still respect them. They're just not always for me. And the hype doesn't grab me the same way it does for other people. But at the end of the day, there are multiple models that I would absolutely buy if I had the money right now. Like I love them. There's still many that I love. So and then when it seems like the ones that truly have that hate for Rolex are Grand Seiko fanboys, they're never Omega fanboys. They're always the guys that go hard for Grand Seiko. And again, like Grand Seiko's amazing. Love them.
They are.
But why is it always the Grand Seiko guys that have so much hatred?
It's crazy. Grand Seiko guys can't even talk about Grand Seiko. And without mentioning Rolex at all. Like it's like I've never seen one person do hey,
it's very silly.
Watch.
And it's like they're not mutually exclusive. Like you can appreciate both.
I like them both.
I'm pretty sure the people over at Grand Seiko probably like Rolex too.
Yeah,
of course.
They know their competition. Okay. But I think that a lot of these brands look at each other and still have respect for one another and tip their hats to one another. Like you have to. Just like there's no way that Rolex hasn't peered over at what Grand Seiko is doing, like especially when like the Spring Drive came out. And there was absolutely a part of those guys over there that was going, damn, That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Because at the end of the day, like people that make watches are always going to love something that is inherently awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And both brands are undeniable, in my opinion.
I agree.
That's just me. But I will say this, and sorry, Grand Seiko fanboys, because I love Grand Seiko and I spent 2 years wearing one. But when it comes to both brands, Grand Seiko absolutely makes a ton of ugly ass watches, whereas like Rolex doesn't really make any ugly watches. So say what you want, guys, but like Grand Seiko has a ton of their catalog that needs to be completely 86 because they're ghastly. They have beautiful pieces, but they also have like some of those GMT divers. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, they're horror shows. They don't look good at all.
Yeah.
They don't wear
I just
right.
had this conversation with Federico the other day. He's like, I love Grand Seiko and I've seen so many beautiful ones. He's like, I've held some where I was like, man, this thing could be double the value. He's like, but at the same time, I've held a couple where I'm like, this belongs in the trap. Because it's like, you see it and it's like, what were you thinking when you came up with this design?
The wearability of it on a lot of those cases are off. They're very off, out of proportion. Yes. Some of the bracelets, with all of that beautiful dial work that you do, some of the bracelets have been off. They only have like one model that has a micro adjustment on it. It's just kind of like, wait a minute. But you can't mention that to somebody who loves Grand Seiko and they won't accept it.
Yeah, it's tough for them to sometimes critique their favorite brand. And I always tell them, I go, any of you guys ever seen their diver clasp? Because I would love to see somebody defend that.
Yes.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen. And I wore a Grand Seiko diver for 2 years. It was absurd. It got caught on everything when I moved around. It got caught on my pockets. Like it's like that thick, sticking off of the bracelet. Are you kidding me?
They got Seiko models that are better than that. You know,
it's the worst design I've ever seen. And here's the worst part. They still haven't gotten rid of it. They still use it. They don't. And here's my problem with them also is they don't listen to their customers.
There you go. That's what I was going to ask you. What are your thoughts on like companies not listening to their customers? We're out here. The content is going. The people are speaking. There's Reddits, subreddits, groups, TikToks, IGs, YouTubes. What does that say about a company that just won't listen? Honestly, like with Rolex, I feel like, for example, you said when they saw the spring drive, they probably like, that's cool. I understand why they don't move on certain things because I feel like that margin from first and second is to where it's like they don't have to push innovation so much to where they got to get off a line or get off track to try to build some of that traction. I don't necessarily agree. I'm just saying like a business model. It's like we're just going to upgrade 3% every year or something like that. And that's been working for us. Whereas, Grand Seiko, they might do the UFA, they do a spring drive, they take it to another level. But why do you think watch companies aren't listening to people when they have so much access to their customers in 2026 through social media?
Let's let Rod weigh in first, because I know you had something, Rod.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, as far as, like you said, looking at other companies, like another example of like Rolex kind of like seeing, like reading the market is like timing when it was, like, okay, now's a good time to reintroduce this integrated bracelet, like the old Oyster Quartz model. It's time to, relaunch it. And there's that contingent of people that say like, oh yeah, they're copying the Tissot PRX. Like, do your homework. They've been doing this, but that's another, like I said, like there's them just reading the market. Like, okay, people love the integrated bracelet. Now it's time for us to reintroduce this in the form like of the land dweller and just take what the market's already, in love with and let's perfect it. So kind of going back to your point as well, is like seeing with the, like, listening to the customer base, like, the content creators, like they're the new, like this is the new R&D for them. And it costs them nothing.
I know. You're welcome, guys. To all the watch companies. If you guys ever see this, you're welcome. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there are a handful of brands that are listening to their customers a lot and they're acting on it. And then there are a handful that are actively not listening and doing what they want to do and what they think is best. And guess what? The sales are going to answer their questions. Like, it's going to let them know whether or not they were right.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, it doesn't matter like what price range your watch company is selling in either. People are paying attention to this now because everybody is talking about how Citizen listens to their customers so much and they act on it. Like, look at what happened like a few years ago when someone mentioned like, hey, I like some of these higher complication watches that you make, but they're too big. They went and they made a bunch of smaller ones. They dropped the Citizen Nighthawk, which like the older Nighthawks were monsters and they wore like dinner plates. Now you can get them in a 38 millimeter. Citizen listened. Citizen listens every time we ask for stuff. You end up seeing it in a year. We've been asking Seiko to stop skimping and just, I don't know, give us some sapphire crystals on watches that cost $700, but they still don't listen. And guess what? The internet is free. Google is free. We know how much it costs them to put a sapphire crystal in a watch.
I just wonder why they don't listen to that.
There's no reason why they should still be doing it. And that's why I won't take down my video. That was my first viral video on this account that I have. People forget that like my first time going viral with this watch account was basically saying like, I'm fucking done with Seiko until they fix their shit and get their shit together.
There you go.
It just doesn't, the math isn't mathing anymore. And I'm giving huge praise to Citizen for all of 2025 because they really did a good job listening to their customers. I even think Rolex listened a lot. They don't always do that. But
No.
they did. They did. Omega like heard everybody loud and clear and they were like, hold my beer. We got you. Like, wait till you see these Planet Oceans. And the best part about these new Planet Oceans, because I finally went and checked them out. I'm going to drop a video. I went and tried them on, everything. Those watches are incredible.
Okay.
They are incredible. They wear perfectly.
Really?
And like they still have the feel of a Planet Ocean.
Yeah, we have different views on that.
We have different views. I'm pro Planet Ocean. He's not the biggest fan of it. Now, I've never had it on wrist.
And that's
they're
the
awesome.
part I never seen it either. So that's the part.
300 meters water resistance, and it feels like a regular diver. It just doesn't have the feel that the older iterations had. Because when the Planet Oceans first came out, the first iterations of Planet Oceans from Omega came out, I hated them. Okay. I liked the design, but I said the dimensions are completely off on these. The design is decent, but these things are too thick. They're too big. They wear weird. Like I had a friend buy one and I tried it on. I was like, these things are like, I just don't, I was like, I'm not vibing with this watch at all. They need to redo this. And they did. And like when they first dropped, I admittedly saw a few stock photos and I was like, I don't think I like these. Then I saw one video of them and I was like, wait a second, that looks way better. And then I went and tried them on in person. And I was like, these are stunning. Like once I saw them in person, the way that they designed that watch, it's making light dance off of it constantly, like at every angle. Like all those different facets, whether polished or even brushed, they're making light dance.
I was gonna say, is Omega like your favorite brand? Like, what are some of your like top?
Well, for like, I guess like for that price range, like, you know, like the Breitling Omega and then like Rolex a bit above them, but they're still kind of like in that grouping. Yeah. In that group of watches, my favorite brands have always been like Omega, Breitling, and IWC. I'm really huge into them, but now in the past few years, I've been starting to get into other brands, especially German brands. And now I'm really into like Nomos, and I really like what Baume & Mercier is doing lately, which I'm finally glad that they're out of hibernation and they're coming out with some newer stuff. They shrunk down those Cliftons because those Clifton dress watches with the 5-day power reserves, those are amazing watches under 40 millimeters.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They used to be like 42 and
42.
44 millimeter.
42. Yep. I've seen a 42 where I was like, well, if this was a little bit smaller, it will make more sense.
Yeah, it's all dial.
When
It's
you're
just gonna
looking
look
at your watch
huge.
collection, right? Like, because you had brought up something about the Omega, because this is the thing. I didn't like it because I didn't see it, right? So, with that being said, we are still relatively new. Our platform is for not for us to give people necessarily advice. As we're learning, you're learning with us, right? So,
Yeah.
a lot of brands we're not able to see. We can't go to a store and pick it up and try it on. What do you recommend to a new watch collector as far as like the type of watches they should get, what they're looking for, or if they want a watch that they may not be able to try on, do you recommend them buying it?
If you can't try the watch on, I always tell people to do this. And I have a video up about it, but it's pretty old. And it was before I started getting real traction. So maybe I'll recut another one.
Mm,
Basically, the same. I do the same thing anytime I'm thinking about buying a watch that I know I can't get in hand. And that is, I utilize YouTube to watch unboxing videos and tons of videos of different people with different wrist sizes wearing the watch and really showing the watch. I
mm,
always tell people, like, you can't go based off of just like some stock photos that you see on the website or anything like that. You need to like just go on. And the best part about like a lot of websites is like, if let's say it's a more obscure model, like, you know how Longines has like a whole bunch of different like variants of certain models, and like you can't really search those if you just type it out on YouTube.
mm-hmm.
Just look up the item number, like the actual reference number of that watch, which it always starts with like an L, and it's a bunch of numbers with periods in between them. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a bunch of bullshit, but like
Yep.
just copy and paste the whole thing, go and throw that into the YouTube search bar next to Longines. It will pull up the specific watch that you're trying to find because someone somewhere one day, once at least, did an unboxing video of that and made sure to put the item number in there for you. And trust me, like YouTube's been around long enough. You're probably going to find the watch. You're going to be able to see at least better than like the stock photos of what it really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, like, you can hopefully decide, but then like ultimately you still like got to get the watch in and try it on and see. And that's the ultimate test. But that's only if you can't go and try the watch on. I always tell people, like, if it's an hour and a half drive and you're debating, like, that's silly. If it's a watch that costs even $500.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's an hour and a half trip if you're going to spend that much money?
Nothing at all.
You may as well just go and see it, even if you're not going to buy it from the store. They're used to people coming in and window shopping.
And
They're not going to
trying.
get that mad. They're used to you doing that. Go and try the watch on, then go home and buy it on the gray market, whatever. So I always tell people, like, yeah, those salespeople know. They're not stupid.
I just got triggered by a recent event that we threw, but we can talk about that later.
Tell me about it. No.
So we had so I'll just sum it up. So we threw our first event with a boutique here of a very very reputable brand, and I'll just say like their reps were very I'll say just very upset about I'll just say like the performance from a sale, how many pieces they sold basically, and I was just pretty much saying like like we invited a bunch of watch collectors, and they're aware of what your prices are going for in boutique and what they can get them for on a Joma shop. Let's pin Joma shop. And so they're just very upset by that, and it's like you said, like they should be aware of that, especially when we're talking, when your entry point is like $4,000 or $5,000. Like, we're going to try it on here, we're going to shop for a deal. Like, you have the showroom. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
that's why I like the honest salesman. Like, I did a video about a local shop that's at our mall. It's the only place at like any mall that like you can actually find like a nice watch at, because most of the time mall shops just have, you know, Movados and Seikos and Citizens, which are cool. Those are like besides the Movados, those are good watches. But if you want to go and buy like a luxury Swiss watch, you're not going to get it at the mall typically. But at our fancy swanky mall, we have Hanush Jewelers, where they sell pre-owned Rolex, but they're also an AD for Rado and Longines.
Okay.
And I go in there to scope out watches, and the sales guy's cool as hell because he's young and he knows. And the first time I was in there, I was taking a look at the Heritage Power Reserve Central Power Reserve watch. I really like that watch. It's beautiful, but it's like over $4,000 retail.
Yeah.
And on gray market, you can absolutely get it for like $2,800.
Come on.
Right. So I'm looking at the watch and I go, man, this thing's beautiful. And I'm about to go into my normal lie. I'm admitting to lying, where I go, listen, I got to run this by the girlfriend who's in the store next door. And I'll come back in like an hour if she says yes. And that's typically what I'm going to say to these salesmen, to just walk out after I've tried on the watch.
Blame it on the girlfriend.
Yeah. Blame it on the girlfriend who was not at the mall with me that day.
At
right?
all. Right.
And, but before I could even get that out, and like I'm handing the watch back to him, about to go into it, he was like, yeah, I mean, you can get this on Joma Shop for like $2,800. So I know you're not going to buy it here. He's like, but just know if you did want to buy it here, I can still, you know, kind of give you a deal. We can work on something, which I loved, by the way. But like the second he said that, I was like, hey, so you're an honest guy, huh? And he was like, he's like, dude, yeah. He's like 28 years old, totally like realistic guy, and I appreciated that. And like I'll tell you what, I'm saying it on the record now, one of these days I'll go and buy a watch from him.
And I will.
It won't be an expensive one, but I'll buy one.
We often talk about brand ambassadors, and I want to know what your thoughts are on that, because I would argue someone like yourself have more impact than a lot of random celebrity brand ambassadors. Rob, could you give them your point of view?
Yeah, I think the days of just like the paid brand ambassador or spokesperson, or let's say they're behind us, because obviously they're still prevalent, but I just feel like they're definitely just not as impactful as they used to be. Like it was okay. So obviously, okay, I'm gonna use like Brad Pitt, for example. I know he was like a spokesperson for Breitling. They hired him to wear Breitling, but every time they caught him in the wild, he had on a Vacheron Constantine, he had on a Rolex, he had on
an IWC. He's a big IWC guy.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that's much more impactful. And I think that, you know, people like yourself, people like you mentioned Ben's watches, and, you know, like people that have traction in the content creation space, like, you know, I feel like it's much more impactful to like partner with you guys, just because like paying a celebrity, giving them a bunch of money. Like, I just don't think that's like really impactful. Like I feel like I'm picking on Breitling again. 'Cause I know we talked about like Trevor Lawrence, he's a good quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the league. Kind of like middle of the pack there. He's a recognizable face and this and that. But it's like, at least for me, and I'm speaking for me, like he doesn't make me want to go out and get the brand. I think it would be cooler if they just caught him. If they just caught him like on the way to practice, like, okay, he has a chronomat on, like, or, you know, if I said, so-and-so has a chronomat on, but just not in the media, you know, they're not doing like a media production of it or anything like that, but just, so that's my take on it.
I kind of agree with you, because I'll see a brand ambassador get picked for a watch brand, right? And I'll 9 times out of 10 go, why'd they pick him? Yeah. But every once in a while I go, oh, that's a good pick, because I'll know that like the guy is like actually a watch fan. Mm-hmm. Like David Beckham's a watch guy. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But anybody that knows who David Beckham is knows that he's a Rolex guy. And they know that he's a super extravagant rich man who like only will drive in a Rolls Royce and like stuff like that. Like, why are you making that dude the brand ambassador of your tool watch division?
Sir David.
The brand that's supposed to like appeal to the working man.
The everyday man,
You're going to use David Beckham.
None of us look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm looking real David Beckham today.
Like, what if they grabbed someone like Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs? You know, the host?
Yep.
Get a guy like that to do Tudor.
I can see that.
Fucking dude, that's they should hire me.
That's the point I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We feel like we feel like content creators, yeah.
Because like off record, we talk. Speaking of brands, and like one more time, we talk about like Seinfeld, and we were just talking like why hasn't
oh my god, go ahead.
Like Breitling for decades, like the man's wearing Navitimers on it, she's wearing Chronomats, and even now, like we see he has like a partnership with Kith. Like, why aren't you guys making a watch about something?
Yes, we literally talked about this. We're in sales, but we also kind of like do go to market strategies and stuff like that. So just firing ideas off, and we were just like, oh my god, I was working with this company. We would literally have like Jerry Seinfeld have a watch with Breitling. That's the first time I saw an advertiser.
He's been a Breitling guy since the early 80s.
And it's like on his own.
On his own, by choice. Yeah. By choice. The man can afford whatever the fuck he wants.
Easy.
He's got a golf course and a baseball diamond in his backyard.
Yeah. Jesus.
But he chooses to wear Breitlings.
And he's at the level he could wear FP Jorns only.
He could be wearing like the highest complication Pateks. The guy's got so much money, it's insane. But like, and I don't even like Jerry. I don't even like Jerry Seinfeld. Like, I loved the show growing up, but like, it's funny. He was my least favorite character on the show. But regardless, like, you have to respect that. You have to, because there are a lot of guys out there like that. Though, look at Ryan Gosling.
Yep,
perfect example of a real watch fan. Okay, because that guy has been sporting the same scratched up, beat up 90s Tag Heuer Carrera that he bought. And like, there's a whole story behind that watch. They've talked about it before. He bought that watch with one of his first movie paychecks because he's always been into watches. And that watch was like a huge purchase for him when he was a kid. You know, he did like a big movie. I think it was Remember the Titans.
Okay, yeah.
It was after he did Remember the Titans. He did that movie, and then I could be wrong about the movie, but like, yeah, after he got a movie paycheck, he went and bought that Carrera, right? And nowadays, like, you can go and get that used Carrera for like $2,000.
Right.
That's it. He wears it everywhere still. He's had it for like 20 plus years. He's spotted everywhere with it. He's received awards while wearing that watch in a tuxedo.
Wow.
And like, we've seen him wear other things. He's worn a couple other high-end watches and stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, you see him in his Tag or an old beat up Oyster Perpetual Rolex on just a leather strap that he wears.
And those
Dude
are
is a real watch guy.
Those are the kind of guys that we want to see, that are genuine watch guys that have a story. Even when he had brought up, he brought up Trevor Lawrence or, Austin Butler with Breitling. I understand they're trying to appeal to a certain market. I understand they got the NFL, collaborations, but walk those guys through a damn watch factory. Sit them down and have somebody seem like they're having a conversation. Hey, I knew nothing about watches. My grandfather wore a Breitling. I just knew it was something that I always wanted. And when I had this opportunity, the reason why I took this deal, because I wanted to learn why my grandfather liked this watch. So I'm talking to the company. I just made this up as I'm going along, but does it make sense? Is that more believable than just having a guy on the beach or on a motorcycle and he's like, oh, I'm going to get this watch because this dude.
Austin Butler might sell watches right now. The guy's very popular.
Very, very super popular. Me and Rob was talking about like he's popular, bro. He's popular. He was Elvis. He was Elvis.
Yeah, he was. I can't stand him in movies, but he's definitely popular.
He definitely is.
And I have to be, sometimes, my fault, I was going to say, I have to be mindful of that too. Like, I'm looking at things through my lens.
Yeah.
And I'm 37 years old. I come from a certain community, a certain demographic. And like, I'm looking at Austin Butler, but he may not move the needle for me, but I'm also a 37-year-old man. Like, there's a whole group of people that probably look at him as a heartthrob and somebody to aspire to. So I always have to remember that. Like,
that's a fact, man.
I'm one person who has one lens, and like looking at the macro perspective, like Austin Butler, like they didn't just pick him for no reason.
Yeah, my girlfriend thinks he's a dreamboat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I get it. So he might be moving some units, right? For sure.
She digs him
Exactly.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Real quick, 2 watches under $1,000. One for somebody who is in their 20s, and one for somebody who might be in their 40s. What would you recommend them?
Someone that's younger, probably going to want a bigger name brand. They're going to care more about the name brand.
Mm-hmm.
So under $1,000, I'm going to push them towards getting a Hamilton all day.
Okay.
And the pick for me is going to be the pick that I keep going towards that I'm going to get this year. It's the Hamilton Khaki Expedition, the 37 millimeter on bracelet with the white dial. That watch is fucking awesome. The bracelet's spectacular. The dial's amazing. It has a screw down crown.
Okay.
Hamilton really has a problem with giving us screw down crowns on sports watches.
I can't believe they have it. It has the steel bezel, right? Is that
yes?
Yes.
And it has the steel bezel, so it's very rugged, beautiful watch. Comes in 2 different sizes. That's my pick for the younger guys. Older guys are going to appreciate a better value. So I'm going micro brand for them.
Okay.
I'm going to point at Cincinnati Watch Company. I think it's one of the best bang for bucks right now. You're getting a Swiss engine on their watches for under $1,000. You're getting SW200 or whatever. I can't remember if it's, what is it, SW100 or 150 that's the hand wind. Either way, you're getting Solita movements. The majority of the watches are under $1,000. Cincinnatus specifically is like $700, their field watch on a bracelet with that maroon dial.
I didn't even know they were under $1,000. I didn't know that.
$700 and you get a Solita SW200.
Yeah, I like the Cincinnati Watch Company. I know they have a watch that's like inspired by their like Grand Central Station or like their Grand Terminal.
The Grand Terminal.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
It is.
And it looks like the Grand Terminal fucking station or clock. It really does look like that clock.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah, it's super cool. Well, the other cool thing about Cincinnati Watch Company is that unlike other micro brands, which this is not, I love micro brands and I like that they can do what they do. But the one thing that separates Cincinnati from the other ones is that one of the owners, because it's 2 guys, is an actual watchmaker.
Oh, okay.
So while a lot of them still put out really good stuff and they'll hire a watchmaker to do the work, to do the assembly and all of that, this was started by a guy who is a watchmaker who worked for other brands and then decided to make a micro with another guy who is, I know, involved in some way with the watch community prior to that as well, but they have an actual watchmaker that is designing and putting these watches together.
That's awesome.
That's a big deal. Yeah. And for that price, it's crazy.
You can't beat it. I think that's one of the.
What are you guys picking?
For me, you already know. Furlong Mari is gonna be one of the watches, one of the mega courts. I love.
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful. I understand it's a mega course. I understand it has a premium. Originally, before all the tier stuff, those watches were around $550. With the increase and stuff like that, it kind of goes to like $750. But I promise you, I felt like it's still worth it. It is modeled after the Patek Philippe 1642, and when Andrea Furlong was talking to Andrew McCutcheon from Time and Tide, and they just had the interview, and he was just saying he was going through, the Patek Philippe museum and just looking at old references that they don't come out with anymore because everybody's kind of on either their sports models. They're not paying attention to Pastor Calatrava. They're not really paying attention to a lot of their things. He wanted to have the ability to go back and reintroduce that look, and I think it's awesome. I think that's the watch.
They nailed it.
Yeah, that's what I would choose.
I like their Disco Volante.
Oh my God. It is nice. I like it with the one with the diamond indices. Oh my God. They have the green one.
Kind of want to buy one.
Yeah, me too.
So for me, I'll say $1,000 or less. When people ask, let's say I have $1,000, what should I get? I point them to 2 watches, and I feel like it always meets their needs. I always point them to the Tissot PRX or the Hamilton Khaki Phil Murph. And I feel like just depending on who they are, I kind of just go those 2 different directions there.
The Murph is so beautiful.
It is.
I love it.
It is. It's such it's a great watch. It's a great watch. It's you can wear it to work. You can wear it straight to happy hour. And if you want like a little more flash bang for your buck, you can go PRX. You can, that means there's an array of dials that you can choose from. If you want, some character to it, you can get the gold, you can get the rose gold. Like you can get the titanium. Now you can get the black, with the carbon casing.
That was my second watch, as you know. That was my second watch. I went to the Teddy Bordasor shop and I got it. So I understand it's important what it did and what it introduced people to. It helped me even open up my eyes a little bit more. There are better watches, right, per se, but I understand the impact. I understand. I understand like what it's capable of doing. They could have charged us a little bit more and make sure they didn't have any plastic parts on the inside of the movement, and make sure that they had AR coating on the glass. Like, but for what it did. And the hype behind it, like I get it. Sometimes I put it on like, man, this watch is 100%. Nice. It has potential.
It did so much for the watch world.
The Citizen Zenshin, to me, is like the better version of that watch. All titanium, integrated bracelet, eco drive. They have like frosted dials. It's crazy what you can get. It's kind of crazy, Rod, when you see one in person. That it's literally kind of like that, but like they got chronograph versions. It's kind of crazy what they was able to do, and it's cheaper. Especially if you get it from
very
Joma.
into those.
You get it from Joma. So, any parting words that you would like to leave us with? Things that are coming up? Are you going to Geneva? Are you going to Watches and Wonder? Anything like that?
I wish. No, I haven't gotten an invite for that. I am going to be trying to do a few events that are coming up. But nothing is definite, so I can't announce anything yet. But there are a few events that are coming up in New York that, fingers crossed, I will be at.
Awesome. I really definitely appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you hopping on here with us, man.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on, dude.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely. And where can the people find you?
I'm only promoting Andy's Watches on TikTok and Andy's Watches on Instagram. I'm not on anything else. Well, I am. Just don't find me on them.
Awesome, man. We got you. We'll make sure everybody will be able to find you and follow you. We definitely support you, man. Thank you for supporting the pod.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a great episode, man, for Andy's Watches, for Real to Watcher. I'm Rod Dye. Signing off until next time.